So today we're gonna make crabapple jelly. I'm really excited about this because we have a crabapple tree in front of our house and I kind of thought that they were just a nuisance, crabapple trees, and not really anything useful. So I'm very excited about the prospect of making something out of these crabapples. So I have been adding crabapples to a Tupperware in the freezer for the past 3 or 4 weeks, and as of today, let's see, that's what we had this morning when we started. And then my daughter and I got another, yeah, there's some stems in there. That's okay. So altogether, but I weighed it. Altogether, we've got 336 grams of crabapples at this point. And we were hoping to have enough crabapples to make 4 cups of juice to make a batch of jelly. And we're nowhere near that, but I have waited long enough and I'm making jelly today. Maybe, we'll see. So we're gonna run the crabapples through the steam juicer and see if we can get a cup of juice. That's all I want. I just want 1 cup of juice, because if I'm using this recipe, zoom, woo, from the Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving, because we're always using approved recipes, right? So with the traditional crabapple jelly recipe, it calls for 4 cups of crabapple juice and 4 cups of granulated sugar. So, and then the lemon juice. So my thought is that if I have a cup of juice and a cup of sugar and a 1/4 of a tablespoon of bottled lemon juice, then I'm going to be able to make a 1/4 of the recipe, which should be 1.5 8-ounce jelly jars. That's the thought, right? So we're gonna throw these 336 grams of crabapples into the steam juicer and just see what happens. It's gonna be amazing. Okay, so fancy new steam juicer day. I'm very excited about this. I've used the steam juicer before with other people, not my own. This is my own shiny new steam juicer. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. But I've used it before to turn seeded grapes into grape juice, and then that juice into jelly and things subsequent. But the steam juicer, fun and cool because it takes away the cheesecloth bit of having to make juice out of grapes. And I think that it's gonna be awesome to turn our crab apples into crabapple juice that then we can turn into jelly. As you can see, my canner is already going crazy because I have gotten the habit of getting the canner going early because it seems like it always takes forever to boil. But of course, when you don't need it yet, then it boils like that. It's terrible. Anyway, all right, so let's pour our crab apples into the steam juicer. Oh, this is very exciting. I didn't wait for the steam juicer to start boiling before adding the crab apples because it doesn't care, right? Here we go. Whoa! Oh my gosh, I'm excited. Here we go. Zoom! Crab apple. And if they have stems and seeds and things, that's fine. They'll just turn into mashy pulp in the basket. And my beautiful juice is gonna come out this tube right here. Make sure that your tube is clamped before you start using the juicer. We did have one day where I was working with a whole group of people and we were making grape juice, and suddenly there was just grape juice everywhere, because you don't necessarily notice when it first starts juicing, when it's all heated up and the juice starts running out. So yeah, that's a respectable number of crab apples. Anyway, we don't want juice running all over the floor, so we've got our little clamp on there, and then when it starts working, when it's steam juicing the crab apples, we're gonna start seeing juice coming out in that tube there. Ooh, I hope it starts soon. I'm an impatient person. Ooh, all right, we got 12 ounces of juice. So we're gonna go ahead and adjust the recipe based on that. Oh, this is exciting stuff happening. 1.5 cups of crabapple juice plus 1.5 cups of sugar. Sugar. Will you look at that beautiful purple jelly? My goodness, I was not expecting purple, I have to say. Oh, that is nice. The recipe we're using for crabapple jelly today comes from the Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving. This is the latest edition of it, and you want to make sure you're using one that's fairly recent, at least within the last 10 years or so, because the science is updated from time to time and you want to make sure that you've got the latest information. crabapple jelly. We're doing the traditional jellies crabapple, which is just straight crabapple juice, sugar, and lemon juice. But of course, we've adjusted the recipe down a little bit because 4 cups of juice from the crabapple tree out in front of my house was going to be a bit too much to ask. We did manage to get 12 ounces of juice off of it, or off of the crab apples that we brought in. So we adjusted the sugar, as you can see, is equal parts. So we're doing 12 ounces of sugar, or a cup and a half of sugar. And then it comes to about 3/8 of the recipe. So 3/8 of that 1 tablespoon of lemon juice is going to be about 1.25 teaspoons of lemon juice. Doing a little test here to see if it's gelling. Dripped some jelly on the cold spoon and it's not going anywhere. Oh, it's very jelly. Time to put it in jars. Oh, how cute! All that work yielded 1/2 pint that's about to go into the water bath. And over here we've got just enough to maybe put some on toast tonight. Let's talk for a minute about the steam juicer. So the steam juicer, I paid $67 for on Amazon, which, you know, is not nothing. It's quite a lot if the only thing I ever do with it is make some crabapple jelly from the tree in the front yard. So here's where I want to take a moment and talk about the idea of sharing equipment with a group of people. I used to be a pretty churchy person. I'm not so much anymore, but there is something strong to be said for the community that you get from a church congregation. And there's also sometimes a space that can be used if you've got a church basement, church kitchen area like that, where you might be able to get together with some friends and do some preservation as a group. It goes a lot quicker. Many hands make light work and all of that. And also gives the opportunity for maybe 2 or 3 of you to go in together on the juicer. Maybe you keep it at one of your houses, you keep it in the church basement so that you guys can share it. And suddenly it doesn't seem like so much of a burden. $67 to make 1/2 pint of crabapple jelly is ridiculous, but $67, and then, you know, 3 of us get together every season and we juice those seedy grapes that none of us ever really wants to eat that grow in my backyard. And, you know, we make grape jelly out of that juice, or we just straight up bottle the juice and stick it in the fridge. Some of these equipment purchases can feel really off-putting. The water bath canner, not that much money relative to some other hobby things you could spend money on, but you know, it's not nothing. And we're not meant to live alone. A lot of us, we're living in relative isolation. It's post-COVID. We don't hang out with our friends. We don't do things in person as much as we used to. And maybe this is that little jolt that you need to encourage you to go get together with some friends and, I don't know, make some grape jelly this season, or some crabapple jelly, or juice something juicy and see what you can make out of it. No man is an island, you know? Self-reliance is an awesome goal, and it's something that I strive for, something that I think about, but there's really nothing better than community interdependence. If I grow grapes and you grow peaches and we can swap grape juice for peach jam, you know, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, you know what I mean? So I guess that's my wrap up on crabapple jelly for today. I ended up filling a half pint, 1/4 pint, I guess, little 4-ounce jar. This is the plastic lid, so that's going straight into the fridge. That's not getting canned today, but it means I can have crabapple jelly on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for the next few days, and I'm looking forward to that. So that'll be good times. All right, you guys, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a super awesome day. Bye.